One of my best football coaches used to say, focus on the game plan, the result will take care of itself. And that's what I've done. I haven't thought about, right, I want to be inspiring, I want to show people how they can live. I just got up every morning and thought, right, today I could do this, this and this. Did it as well as I could, and today's the result of that.
Sometime during the mid-90s, I recall this young kid appearing at Swans training, and it was Barnaby Howarth, the legendary figure from Pennant Hills, who played a season in our reserves team, and it was an amazing reserve side. From memory, Adam Goods played the whole season there, Jude Bolton played a lot of footy. Most of the alumni of the 2005 Premiership at some stage passed through the 1998 reserves team.
Now let me tell you the story of my story. First part started when I was 14 and I was diagnosed with diabetes. But when I went and saw my GP, he told me that normal blood sugars should be between 3.5 and 8, but mine was 38. I was diagnosed with type 1 or juvenile diabetes. I was a pretty keen Aussie rules footballer when I was younger. But it was something I heard Ron Barassi say that helped me realise what I had to do now that I was diabetic. Barassi once said, there's no disgrace in failing. The only disgrace is if you only half try, or 3/4 try, or 99% try. So with those words in mind, I thought all I can do now that I'm diabetic is to jump back into the life I'd been living before it, give it 100% and see how far I could take it. That turned out to be a pretty good decision when I got a phone call from Colin Seary asking me to join the Swans for the 98 season. I was so happy with where I was, I started writing my autobiography. Fate laughed straight in my face in 2005. I was out having what I thought was a quiet drink with 3 mates of mine, and on the way home, one of my mates didn't like the way a kid was looking at him when he walked out of a convenience store. So he went over and had an angry word, and things got out of hand really quickly. My mate threw this kid on the ground and started kicking him while he was down. So I ran over and grabbed my mate, told him he was being a peanut, and dragged him back to where our other 2 mates were, and the 4 of us started walking away again. And we heard a heap of angry shouting coming from behind us. And we turned around and saw this kids group had grown from 5 to about 20. 2 of my mates did what we all should have done and ran, but myself and one other guy stayed behind and tried to talk the mob down. My mate was king hit from behind, and then while he was lying on the ground unconscious, some guys stood around him and just started kicking him in the head. So I ran over and shoved the kickers off, and that's the last thing I remember about the fight. Apparently I was king hit from behind and then kicked while I was out as well. I went back to footy training for Penno on Thursday, and it turns out somewhere during training, I got a knock. Turns out an artery in my brainstem had been torn. And that's when things got really dramatic. That's when my parents were told they might have to turn off my life support, and my family and friends were all told to come and say goodbye. When I opened my eyes, I saw that I was lying in a hospital bed, and someone explained to me that I had a stroke on the Thursday, I'd been unconscious all weekend, and it was now Monday. And my first thought was, oh, bugger, I missed a game of footy on the weekend. Essentially what had happened because of the stroke was that all the signals I'd built up from my brain to the left side of my body had been completely wiped clean by the stroke, and I was going to have to relearn how to use my left side again. My balance was so bad after the stroke, I literally couldn't do this. I couldn't stand still in one position without falling over. So one of the best parts of my day these days is something as simple as getting off the train and walking to work. One of the other things I went without after the stroke was playing footy. I put a line through my footy career, thinking I'd been forced into an early retirement, 4 games short of my 100th. Tell the boys, what'd your dad say to you?
Dad just said, run hard, you make it hurt.
There you go.
Your entire life. Just run hard, don't get hurt.
Footy's a piece of piss.
Yeah, that's it, and it worked.
Run hard, don't get hurt.
That's it. No, you run soft, you get hurt. Run hard, you don't get hurt. That's it. That's the key to success.
Done. If I could have written the fairy tale recovery script for my life after the stroke, it would have said that 8 years after touching noses with death, I'd come back to playing footy for Pennant Hills. Hey boys, I freaking love this club. I love the culture, I love the people out there. I love you blokes. Especially, where's Jared? I love you, Jared, especially. Thank you. But all this culture and emotion, all that stuff, that can wait until after at the pub having a few beers. Right now, we've got a game of footy to win. So let's just go out there. First touch of the footy is all you need to be thinking about. Don't worry about what's happening tonight or tomorrow or the culture of this club in 8 years. It's still going to be the same, trust me. Been there, done that. So let's just go and have these first 5 minutes. Smash the door on your way out. Let's go and tear these blokes apart. And on the day of my 100th game, I kicked the first goal of the day in front of a crowd that included my little sister, who'd flown all the way back from England for one night just to watch the footy.
Yes! Yes! Yes, mate.
Get him.
Fuck yes. Barnaby, a fucking legend. How good's that, mate? How good is that?
Fantastic.
How good?
I played in a night final for the Swans on the MCG. I've kicked goals right here on the SCG. I was best on ground in Pennant Hill's first grade premiership, and I won a best and fairest for the Sandringham Reserves in the Victorian Football League. But that goal for Pennant Hill's 4th grade in a round 23 game at Ernholmes Oval is the most significant thing I've done in football. I found out exactly how proud just giving 100% to the task in front of you can make you when I went to Africa to try and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And as we got near the top, I put my head up above the crater rim and then dragged the rest of my body up and stood on top of Mount Kilimanjaro next to my sister and my mate. And when I turned around to speak to my sister, she didn't say anything to me. She just cried. And it dawned on me then she'd been told 7 years earlier that her brother was probably going to die. So right then I felt like I was back. I realise now that all I've ever wanted out of life is exactly what most of you guys have in this room tonight. Just a decent, honest life. There were times where I wondered whether this is the best way to live my life. Was being proud of being a normal bloke enough, or should I be striving for something higher? But at the Sydney AFL Awards night a couple of years ago, Tom Harley helped me realise that I have everything I need in this life.
And it gives me absolute pleasure to announce the second 2013 Hall of Fame inductee, Barnaby Howarth.
I was lucky enough to come in 1998 and play alongside Barnaby through 1999, and Barnaby always credits his footy fitness for helping him recover. I guess I don't put it down to fitness, I put it down to something that is just so important in footballers and people in general, and that's resilience and an ability to recover quickly from difficulties, and that shows just an enormous toughness and strength.
He's living proof that if you dream something, if you focus on something, if you have self-belief, it's extraordinary what can happen.
To say we are all extremely proud of the man that Barnaby is, what he's achieved in his life, we are immensely proud, is absolutely the understatement of the century.
I'm so proud of the life I'm living that just being a normal bloke is more than enough for me.